Welcome. My name is Pauline, and I'm with here with Mr. Paul Feiner. And our new show is now called Solving Problems with Mr. Feiner and Pauline. And I'm so excited that this is a new launch that we're doing, and it's really one of the missions of this objective of this show is to help really improve the lives of our residents and those in the community, thereby making our Westchester County stronger. And who doesn't have a problem or issue or a challenge? We're just coming out of the pandemic, and so many people that I run into, students, neighbors, people at the grocery store, have told me how they had various challenges and problems. So this is a fantastic avenue and media place where you can come and ask Mr. Feiner and myself, share with us some of the problems or challenges or issues that you're going through, or your child is going through, or a neighbor is going through, and we can help you solve this the most efficient way.
And most of the people in Greenburgh have no idea of all the resources that are available to them. So one of the goals of this program will be to identify different issues and different problems that people have, and then we basically will help them solve it. For example, just over the weekend, I got a bunch of calls from people who are elderly and frail, and they wanted COVID shots. But they don't want to go to a doctor's office because they feel if they go to the doctor's office, they could get sick just by being near sick people. So I'm aware that the Scarsdale Volunteer Ambulance Corps will make house calls. So if anybody anywhere in the county wants a COVID shot or a flu shot and they don't want to go to the doctor because maybe they can't get there or it's difficult, they might be homebound, all you have to do is call Scarsdale Volunteer Ambulance Corps and they'll show up in your house, no waiting, no lines. You're not going to get infected because you're near other sick people, and it takes 5 minutes. Now that's a problem that may not be a problem for you or for me, but it's a problem for people who are frail, elderly. There may be people who are also homebound and they can't go out for food. Greenburgh has a Meals on Wheels program, and we have food delivered to them if they're elderly or disabled, and we've been doing that for many years. There's so many different problems that I could think of, and I think over time we'll create an index of the problem, and then we'll tell people how they could solve it.
Absolutely. Another objective of this program is for you, if you have a problem or situation, to write Mr. Feiner so we can document these issues that are in our county. We want to make our county, we want to improve our ranking, and we want people in the county to feel that this is part of a community. And I think one of the things we've learned coming out of the pandemic is that we are a community and we're here to help everyone succeed. And this is not just for adults, this is for children. If you're being bullied in school, we want to know about it, and we want to help you not just solve your problem, but we want to hold your hand. We want to navigate you through that so that you are successful, because everyone in the county has a voice. Mr. Feiner wants to hear your voices, correct? So there's no problem too small or too large, and there's no age restriction. So if you're 3 years old, if you're, don't want to eat vegetables, or you're having something in the house, we want to hear about it and help you, because what may, like Mr. Feiner said, what may not be a problem to you or to someone else is a problem to you. And we're here to help everyone solve their problems and be successful. And improve the quality
and to
of
be
their life.
aware of the resources that are available. So when you're talking about bullying, for example, if you're a parent and your son or daughter is being bullied, there's a group called Student Advocacy, and they advocate for students. They're excellent. I've referred a lot of people over the years to that organization. If you're bullied because of your ethnicity, You could go to the Westchester County Human Rights Commission. Now, a lot of people are not aware that there is a Westchester Human Rights Commission. And what I've learned since I've been, town supervisor is that, we think when we're in office that everybody's talking about the things that we're talking about, and we think everybody reads the local newspapers and it's following the news. Right. But a lot of people are so busy with their lives, they really don't know all these services that are, that are available to them. We just had a flood, a lot of floods in the past few weeks. Some of the fire departments will vacuum people's basements. They'll suck up they'll suck up the water. They've been doing that for years. Not everybody knows about it. Why should only insiders be able to take advantage of, of the services? There may be elderly people. You go to rehab. You have Medicare gap. You think you're going to get the coverage, and then after 2 weeks they tell you you're not making improvements, and then they kick you out. And people don't realize that you could appeal. And there's ways of continuing to get the care, even if the assisted living or rehab facility wants to kick you out. So there's like so many little problems that people have, and we're going to also talk on the show about problems relating, to the town, whether it's relating to building permits. You're on the zoning board. How do you appeal to the zoning board if the planning department denies your rights, and just give people little tips.
Correct. There's nothing. So this is more an information channel and show to, as Mr. Feiner says, to give you the information and point you to the resources that can help solve your problems. Many things are not even problems, but they become problems because we are unaware of the resources that are available to us that are solutions to these issues.
One of the people who has inspired me, there's a woman, she lives in Elmsford, North Elmsford, Lola Daniels Hunter, and she was assistant to the commissioner of the Department of Social Services. Now she's on our Police Community Advisory Board. But I remember when I was a county legislator, there was a woman who was blind, deaf, blind, confined to a wheelchair, and the county was going to send her to a nursing home. She didn't want to go to a nursing home because her daughter was 16 years old, and she wanted to be near her daughter. Right. So she wanted a home care worker to serve her, to come and help her. So county said no. I went to social services. This was close to 40 years ago. Lola found a loophole in the law, and we got her the home care worker at home. And for the last 8 years of her life, she was able to be with her daughter. And actually, the woman, Margaret Shoemake, we went to all the homeless hotels, you had the Howard Johnsons and all of them, and she got 8 people off welfare because she knocked on their doors and told people to work. And the day she died, President Bush honored her for making a difference in people's lives.
Wow. And
one of the problems I have is I have to shut off the phone. So you see, now I learned that's another problem.
No, one of the things I hear around the town, and when I go in and out of the community, so many people have said to me that Mr. Feiner really cares and wants to make a difference. And so that's what this show, another objective of this show is about, is to not only hear your problems, but to really make a difference by solving the problem and solving the issues.
And I just want to also mention that if anybody here has a problem, I might as well, since you're praising me, I might as well give my phone number as my cell phone. The office cell phone is 438-1343. That's the phone that was ringing and distracting. And my personal cell phone, the non-government cell phone, is 478-1219. So people could call me day, evening, weekends. If I'm ever on a holiday, they could call me any time, because you may have a problem that everybody thinks is a minor problem, But for you, it may be a major problem. And I feel that every problem, no matter how big or small it is, should be treated as if it's the most important problem in the world. And I feel, for me, when people call me, I want to make sure that I get back to everybody, usually within an hour, but definitely the same day. And if I'm unsuccessful, then I want to keep pursuing it and look for every single loophole around until I could make sure that I give them the best chance of solving the problem. So I tell people that I want to treat them like their family. So if they don't have a son or daughter who could help, they could call me and I'll give them everything I have until we resolve the problem.
Absolutely,
I'll try.
and I feel the same way. I've been an educator for over 40 years. I teach at Pace. I've been at Pace 25 years. And I also tell my students, I give my students my cell phone number, which is 914-255-5407. And my passion is also to help students and youth in particularly, but I'm willing to help my community at large. I mean, that's how Paul and I met, Mr. Feiner and I met, was through a lot of the community work that ran through my church, doing food pantry and really trying to uplift and help community members. So I am very passionate about helping youth in particularly, but anyone that comes my way, it's about lifting them up and giving back and serving and improving the quality of one's life. So I think that's what this show is about, is reaching out and serving. And what I enjoy most is my expertise is in STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, and I like to take the algorithms that we apply to computer science problems and artificial intelligence problems and cybersecurity problems. I like to take those algorithms and those solutions sets and apply them to any problem. We define a problem, we brainstorm, we come up with iterations, and we then look at the most efficient way to solve that problem. And, what we do for computers and how we solve computer problems, those same thinking patterns and algorithms can be applied to everyday life. Of course, we infuse more compassion and tenderness because we're not working with just machines, we're working with people's lives.
And maybe one of the programs we could have in the future would be to talk about hacking and what people could do to avoid hacking. How you could avoid scams.
Absolutely.
By the way, have to after this show give somebody in Nigeria $1,000 who was kidnapped. You could see I didn't listen to the show yet, but the thing is, people are so gullible.
Very gullible.
And it's so easy to be gullible. I remember, and I shouldn't talk against my niece, but she she was moving to Boston a couple years ago, and she went in an apartment and she saw a beautiful picture of an apartment with a swimming pool, with a beautiful health facility, a gym, and they said, "Oh, you have to send us the money the same day, otherwise you're going to lose the apartment." Now she went to Barnard. She went to University of Penn Architectural School for a master's. She sent the money, and it was a scam. Now they tricked her, but she didn't. She thought she knew about all these things, but she didn't. And so many people are gullible.
Very gullible. So we hope that you will enjoy this show. This is an introduction. And this show is going to be done every 2 weeks. And we hope that you will tune in. And eventually we will have a website where you can look at various categories. So for instance, if you wanted to know, I want to build a pool, I want to build a fence, or I want to get leaves removed, or how do I get snow removal? So they will be categorized because there's all different types of issues. And how do I do this? And how do I do that? And what do you recommend for this? And
there's a lot of noise. You can't take it. Who do you call? What do you do if your neighbor is a pain in the neck and is bothering you and impacting your quality of life. What do you do if a neighbor is encroaching on your property, and or putting a fence, but it turns out it's on your fence? What if you want to get rid of a tree? We have a tree law, and what are the specifics of the tree law? Can you just cut down any tree? Do you have to replant a tree? So those are the types of things that we're going to be talking about on on the show. If you're looking for a house, let's say you're looking to buy a house, what are some of the mistakes that people made? Because right now we have some flooding problems around the town, and some new residents, some first-generation Americans, they've been steered and purchasing their homes near flood zones. So every time there's a big storm, they're getting flooded out. What could people do to help? How can you be a smart purchaser of a house? What are some of the things you should be doing?
I'm looking for correct.
How do you do your due diligence? Those are some things. What happens if you go over a pothole and you destroy your tires? Are you entitled to money? Did you know that if you go down a road in Greenburgh and you hit a pothole and your tire is blown and you have car damage, the only way you're entitled to damages is if there's pre-written notice. So, and did you know that if you're on a state road, they don't, and during the winter months, there's like a big pothole and you destroy your car because you went over a pothole, guess how much the state has to give you, even if there's pre-written notice? Take a guess.
That the state has to give you?
Do they have to give you anything?
No.
No, they don't have to give you zero. So if you let's say you're on Central Avenue, it's a state road, or if you're on Knollwood Road or Dobbs Ferry Road, hit a big pothole, you damage your car, $3,000 worth of damage, and it's in the winter. Sorry, you have to pay for it yourself. A lot of people are not aware of that. What do you do? Con Ed's doing all this work now. What do you do if you have damage because you went over, Con Ed metal plate and you got a flat tire? There's claims. What do you do if you think that your utility bill is too high? You could appeal to the New York State Public Service Commission. And while you're appealing to the Public Service Commission, the challenged amount is basically put on hold. So that's another thing that you could do. So there's like so many little loopholes, and I've dealt with so many of these problems over the years that I sort of know what the best chance is. One of the most exciting problems that I dealt with immigration. I once helped somebody get out of Afghanistan while they were escaping the Taliban, and I worked with our congressional delegation, and that was exciting. And when I first started my career, there was somebody whose son-in-law was the minority leader of the Liberian government, but the president of Liberia was trying to kill him. So he was escaping Liberia. So I called the White House, and I got the name of a contact. They gave me a name of somebody in the State Department in the Liberian desk, and we were able to wire this person while he was fleeing Liberia, and then he escaped. Liberia came, thanked me, and then a couple of years later he got divorced, and the mother-in-law was ready to kill me for getting him out of but it was really, but that was exciting because I felt I really made a difference in that person's life. There's a lot of case sometimes people can't get medications, and I've been able to help with that. I have a framed letter from somebody saying I saved their life because I got them medication that normally they couldn't afford, but it was a generic one, and I reached out to people. So I reach out frequently to the liaisons from senators' offices, from congressional offices, and you develop these contacts, and I really feel that I've been able to make a difference. Usually I have like 1 or 2 really exciting cases a year, and most of them are basic. But we have a Leaf Angels program. We're going to have volunteers helping pick up leaves of the elderly and disabled. And we rely on volunteers. We have a Snow Angels program. So what happens if you have back problems or you're elderly, disabled, and you can't pick up the snow? We have volunteers who will do it for you at no cost. So these are the types of things that we'll talk about in the show. Actually, we probably should be doing this show every day rather than every 2 weeks, because there's so many different problems that people have. But I should mention that that's what I really enjoy about the job, is really helping people. I wanted to be a rabbi before I went into politics because I wanted to help people, but being a lawmaker gives you a chance to help more people at once, because not only could I help people one-on-one, but we could pass a law that helps thousands of people at one time.
Phenomenal, absolutely fantastic. And also, will the show also address issues like if someone wants to go, if I live in Harrison, but I want to send my child to Edgemont, a different school district, we can also talk about, we can cover that as well. Like if I want to go to a private school, or if I want to go to Hackley, or if I live in a different district and I want to go out of district, what steps do I do to do that? What are the
you
benefits?
have to pay, but I believe in many cases the local school district will provide transportation. So we could, that's a very interesting thing.
It is.
Another interesting thing would be college scholarships.
Yes.
Because a lot of people can't afford scholarships. Or, what happens if you can't afford home care? The benefits of Medicaid. How do you apply for Medicaid? Those are types of things that I could think would be of interest. So, I really am looking forward to the program, and we're lucky that you live in the town and are doing so many great things yourself. You're on the zoning board. You're a professor at Pace University, and you're active in your church. So you've been helping a lot of people. And I think maybe other things we could talk about. It's not only elected officials who help. There's a lot of other people who, like yourself, who are great resources and also willing to help. And we should be celebrating the work that other people in the community do. We could talk about groups like the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry that provide people with food. And it was interesting because, sometimes I go to the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry, notice there's people I know who need food, and you think that the people are the people who are sitting on the sidewalks,
exactly.
But it could be your people who who could be having problems. We have the cupboard at the Greenburgh Neighborhood Health Center on Knollwood Road, and they have a little bit of like shelves at the entrance with food. People are taking advantage of it, and they feel they're getting maintaining their dignity. So that's something that we could talk about. So, this is really very exciting, and
it's very exciting.
And I hope that this will help people. But I just really want to mention that if anybody has any problems, feel free to always call me, 478-1219, my personal phone number, 438-1343. That's my personal government cell phone number. So I always will return your phone calls, and we even make house calls in Greenburgh, like the old-fashioned doctor. So if people have problems, we'll go to them rather than make them come to us.
Fantastic. So please look forward to seeing our topics in the coming weeks, and we look forward to serving you, serving the community, and serving Westchester County at large. It's going to be very, very exciting, and we can't wait to share with you the outcomes of solving these problems. We all love successes and success stories, and that's what this show is about, is celebrating how we overcame these problems and challenges. So thank you, Mr. Feiner.
And thank you.
Fantastic.
Great, thanks, and
See you in 2 weeks.
great.